is. Others, look behind you.
Take it out.
You gotta go to work. Get the fuck out the way. Get the fuck out the way. Go. Get the fuck out of here. You get the
Oh, yeah. Here we are, folks, on a Monday in my home state of Georgia. How y'all doing? I blow people away when I talk like that down here. They go, here comes a greasy Yankee from the north. And I go, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. I want them Chick-fil-A sandwiches, please. And heading to the gun range, whatnot. Anyways, good to be with you. I must live in the healthiest neighborhood in the nation. There's people jogging by my house. It starts at 6 in the morning till 9, 10 at night. Jogging by, and I feel like a gynecologist. Some of them are really hot, and then they get the 300-pounders with the crew cuts. And it really puts a damper in my day. Excuse me. Coming to you live on a Monday. We love you.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
How was your weekend, everybody? Was it good? I laid around like Stephen Hawking and watched, I'd say, 11 college games and hockey. And if I'll tell you, if you are a sports fan, this month is the best. If you're a Haitian choreographer, maybe the worst month. And I see again the pink is leaking into the NFL. Not as bad this year. Maybe some of the guys said, I've had enough. The brothers like pink, though. They love their pink. But do you notice that? They're sort of laid off that. Every 3 minutes is somebody dies of breast. We know. How about prostate cancer month in the NFL? You have the quarterback come out with a pair of those rubber gloves when he puts his hands under the center. Huh? How about that, man? You know, our body parts rot too. God damn it. But nobody cares in 2019. Nobody cares. So what else did I do? I can't even remember. It was all a blur. Let's get right to it, huh? The latest thing I saw was, and you guys, you have to give me some credit here. My instincts politically are pretty damn good. I said Pete Buttigieg was the smartest one on that stage, even though I think he's a radical little puss and a phony. He's definitely smart and a good politician and a midget. Iowa caucuses are up for grabs as Pete Buttigieg surges into top tier. Takes him 8 phone books to do that and a stepladder, but congratulations, you lying midget, you. Pete Buttigieg has jumped 7 percentage points since June, according to a USA Today poll, so it must be true. It was accompanied by a beautiful pie chart in different pastels. Joe Biden was by far the candidate seen as doing worse than expected in last week's debate. Joe Biden is committing, he doesn't, I told you this, the day after he said he wanted to run, I could see he didn't. I'm telling you, he's tanking on purpose. He stunk. He didn't do anything. Sat in the background like a mameluke. So it's a new 3-way race in Iowa. You got Pete Buttigieg, initially seen as a long shot contender, has surged within striking distance of Biden and the titless wonder, Elizabeth Warren, in the first in the nation Iowa caucus. The poll was taken Wednesday through Friday, put Biden at 18%, Warren at 17%, and here comes the lying little holier-than-thou midget at 13%, Pete Buttigieg. But why get excited over this poll? It was among 500 likely Democrat caucus goer. Wow. In a country of 330 million, that's quite a sample size. I don't understand how it works. I really don't. Those standings reflect significant changes since Biden and Warren, they used to lead in double digits, and Buttigieg trailed at 6%. Remember that? Kamala Harris, the empty suit? Yeah, Remember, she was in second place after the first one? She's plummeted 13 points, is now back to reality in a three-way tie for 6th. Poor Bernie Sanders, the original communist, earned 9%, the same as last month. So Buttigieg should be excited about this, I guess.
He's a fan.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Anyway, Buttigieg has found a lane and is accelerating toward the front of the pack, surpassing Bernie Sanders. We have him. We actually have footage of him surpassing the pack, don't we?
He is now, in fact, passing Mike Berger and is in front of him by...
Oh, my God, he's racing a fucking camel. It's a midget racing a camel. Oh, God. So, good news for him, I guess.
What about homosexuality, Tony? You like men?
Oh, he does, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, our last president was gay, in my opinion. Come on. Remember Obama and his mother-in-law's jeans? Wore a helmet when he rode a bike. That's the sign of a big, big girl. Nothing wrong with that. The number of caucus goers who say they're undecided has spiked 8 points since June to 29%. What have I said here on this show? None of these idiots you're watching in the Democrat candidate field are going to be the nominee. It's either going to be Mayor Bloomberg jumping in 2 feet or the thick-ankle dogface who keeps making noise. This bitch won't go away. She is like herpes. She keeps recurring, and she just won't go away. I'm telling you, it's going to be either Bloomberg or Hillary jumping in, or maybe even somebody else, but not these people. Among the second-tier candidates, Tom Steyer, the billionaire, was at 3%. 3 other candidates also reached 3% because of rounding. My girlfriend, Tulsi Gabbard, Kamala Harris, and Klobuchar. So they're pulling up the end of the pack. But Hillary Clinton is going after Tulsi. How dare she? Anyways, Buttigieg is the youngest contender in the field, and he's the first openly gay candidate. And believe me, in 2019 in this country, where everything is gay, men are getting their periods, and we're having menopause and growing tits and pussies and dicks, that means a lot. I'm telling you, even though they only make up 5% of the world population, I did the math. I flew around the world twice. I counted the number of guys with tight jeans on and fucking tank tops and girls with army haircuts. Came to 5%. Among those surveys who watched the debate last Tuesday, 4 in 10 said Buttigieg was a candidate who did better. Do you remember what I said after? Rich, you remember what I said after? I said Buttigieg was the smartest one on that stage. And that doesn't mean he's right. He raised his hand when they said, who's forgiving illegal aliens, Medicare for... He was a dummy that raised his hand. He's way more radical than he pretends. I don't like him. Yes, he served our country, but so did Tulsi. For the love of Pete. Anyways, I guess the question is, who likes men more, Pete Buttigieg or Tulsi Gabbard? Oh, for the love of Christ, that's an irrelevant question, Nick, and you goddamn know it. But speaking of Tulsi Gabbard, who I think Tucker Carlson has a crush on, she's on once a week. Of course, it's smart. He gets huge ratings, and it's dumb for her to say no to that show. But she's on every week. I see a glint in his eye. Anyways, Hillary Clinton, this is what she's saying. She's saying that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset and that they're grooming her and all this. This fat bitch she's lost her fucking mind, what's left of it. Let's show Hillary bad-mouthing Tulsi.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians.
You fucking
They have
whore.
a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far.
Hillary.
And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
You know what she's got? She's got, what was Bill Clinton's vice president? The energy guy? Gore. She's got Al Gore syndrome. She's lost and she's losing her mind. Remember fucking Al Gore put on 180 pounds, grew 3 beards, fucking lost his tits? That's what she's got. Can you imagine saying that about a veteran who, active duty, saw action? Can you imagine? Hillary said it.
Who the fuck said
You don't
that?
know who said it.
Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
It was Hillary. Clinton never names Gabbard, but there are only 5 women running for president. Gabbard, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, if you want to call her a woman, Amy Klobuchar and Marianne Williamson. What the fuck is she? I think I saw her doing yoga in the park in Atlanta. And none of the other women have been accused of being boosted by Russia. Clinton did not provide proof about how Russia is grooming Gabbard. She only knows that Gabbard's prettier than her. Looks more like a woman. She and her team pointed to allegations the Russian news and propaganda sites often report on Gabbard's campaign, and that moments in Gabbard's campaign have been reportedly amplified by trolls and bots on Twitter with ties to Russia. Well, why don't you show us the evidence of that? And while you're doing it, dig out those 33,000 emails you deleted. You entitled, she is the face of white fat privilege. Gabbard has denied those allegations, but you cannot be. You can't do that. You can't be picking on Tulsi Gabbard.
I love you.
Yes, Rich?
Let's not forget about Bernie Sanders being in the Russian saunas. I mean, if anybody is more Russian, it's Bernie.
Yeah, but his politics, we know that already from his politics. Yes, he on his honeymoon, he was in Russia or some shit. Takes trips to. Remember that video of him drinking with all the Russians around the table and shit? Yes, they're not socialists. They're communists is what they are. They all suck. And if you vote for them, you suck. This show is by way of opinion and not fact-driven. Actually, those are facts I just gave you. Good point, though, Rich. I forgot about Bernie and, Bill Clinton. When Vietnam was going on, he was over in, in England at fucking Oxford, marching in anti-American rallies. Yeah, a bunch of leftist fucking assholes. They hate this country, and that's all there is to it. Oh, Jesus. That could have been disastrous. My mic has the grossest shit on it. Can anybody see? I don't know what. Look at the spuge. It looks like a boom mic they used during a porn shoot. I don't know what the crustaceans are on that thing. I brush and I floss 4 times a month. Anyways, let's get back to it. Down to 2 times a month. I'm in the South. What the hell did that mean, Nick? But the anti-American fervor is at a peak now. It's getting to the point. Did you see this Times Square billboard? It's put up with this fucking company called Dhvani, Dhvani. It's a billboard. Times Square shows Trump being hogtied and tortured. Look at this. Let me remind you. Do you remember the rodeo clown put on an Obama mask and he was fired immediately? But this is okay. Are you fucking dog styling me? I would pay to have that woman do that to me. You think that's bothering Trump? Seriously. You guys call him a pussy hound and a sexist. You think that would really bother him? By the way, he's tighter. It's the perfect slip knot. It's perfect. Look at the bags on her. Look at those bags. You tell me Hillary didn't take the old big dildo out when she saw this thing. Sounds like a jackhammer. It's got 2 things she likes in it. A kind of a sexy-looking lesbian and Trump having his face stuck. I can't stop coming. That was in Times Square. I almost want the Democrats to win the House, the White House. And I hope it's a female or a minority, which it won't be. Fucking Obama fucked that up for black people the rest of the time. But I you know why? So we can treat that president with the same respect they treated Trump with. I'm almost hoping. You see what I'm saying? Do you believe that was in Times fucking Square? You know how radical that was? Planned Parenthood. Is there any more radical fucking group? You know, the group that kills babies at 9 months. They said that they don't support that ad. This company's taking that money and putting it towards abortions and shit. And they wanted to link up with Planned Parenthood, and Planned Parenthood said, no, we don't support that, which they really do. They said we don't support that because our clients suffer violence at the hands of domestic partners and bullying, so we don't support any kind of images of violence. But we'll kill a 9-month-old baby. We'll kill a whole fucking ton of them. But, helicopters. Can anybody hear it? He's being, by an angry female Marine Corps veteran. It's an athletic clothing company. So you know the NFL is going to be buying all this shit up. On the company's Instagram page, Dhvani claims the image is a backlash to Trump having 26 credible accusations of sexual assault or rape against him. By the way, none of them are fucking credible. And after the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, you guys blew that out of the water, the whole sexual assault against women and all your other horse shit, all your other propaganda. Remember they put out years ago women get beat up more on the Super Bowl, and they had to come out and admit that was wrong. Glad. That's when I knew they were. That never happened in my house. We used to beat each other up. Anyways, that's how they're trying to justify this. It's backlash against 26 credible accusations of sexual assault or rape against him, as well as him having no respect for the rule of law. How fucking dare they? They're so...
Grab him by the pussy.
Raping me! This is rape! This is rape! This is rape!
That's Trump screaming in that poster. The president receives daily threats. The guy who wrote this tweeted Charlie Kirk. Secret Service had to arrest an armed man outside his rally, and this is what's plastered in Times Square, a literal depiction of violence against him. Another image on the company's Instagram page shows Trump on the toilet with his pants down, having... I think they might have got that from me. Every time he tweeted for the last 2 years, I said, he's on the bowl at 4 in the morning, banging the shit out. Having his phone swiped from him by a brown woman in skimpy camo gear. The company has said it will donate a portion of profits from the sales of its clothing to help kill babies. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It's kind of disturbing, wasn't it? I put that together, and I was even going, that one rings a bell. But anyways... The company, it's going to... And Planned Parenthood said, fuck that. Imagine that? Planned Parenthood said, no, that's too much for us, actually. So they're ridiculous. Planned Parenthood publicly distanced itself from a controversial anti-Trump billboard, the one I just talked about. By the way, this is why Devani put that up there. It's the first in a series of images meant to protest the Trump administration's gag rule prohibiting doctors at Title X funded clinics from referring Title X or Title X? I don't know. Huh? What is it? You think it's 10? Well, how would you know? What the fuck? When's the last time you had a Planned Parenthood?
X stands for 10.
Yeah, I know that's stupid. It also stands for X. Jesus H, how do you make it in the fucking world? Malcolm X funded clinics from referring patients for abortions. The rule prompted Planned Parenthood to pull out of the federal grant program in August. So, but the company said, we are proud to join Planned Parenthood in defending women from assaults on our reproductive rights. What a bunch of horse shit. There's plenty of back alleys all over the place. That's what they always say. Women are going to go end up having back alley abort. Really? Okay, maybe in 1960. Now you can do it in the fucking bathroom at Starbucks, McDonald's, plenty of breastfeeding rooms at LaGuardia, plenty of places to kill kids. Devani's chief communication officer, Chloe Mason, said Trump administration policies are threatening the health and bodily autonomy of women, especially women of color, of course. Low-income women. Can you imagine her saying that? Yeah, low-income women. Yeah, Planned Parenthood kills more black babies. Last year they killed more black babies in New York City than were born. But Trump's the racist. Keep that in mind. You guys are so fucking retarded. Makes me sick.
But it was all lies.
Yes, it was. It sure was.
You fucking hypocrite.
Hey, take it easy. Yeah, Devani also provided a statement to Fox News stressing the company does not and will not never condone violence of any kind, but that'll push forward to fight reproductive rights. It's more about the women. It's got nothing to do with the babies. You can't tell us what to do with our bodies unless you're paying us $200 on a Saturday night. And I say, put your left nipple in my ear and beat me with that rubber hose. Then they don't have a problem with it. Oh, Nick, that's ridiculous. But they're
You fucking hypocrite.
Okay, kiss my grits. This episode of the Nick DiPaolo Show is brought to you by mybookie.ag. Look, guys, what are we, 7 weeks in? 7 weeks into NFL season? Patriots are undefeated. That's right, rest of the nation. And there's no better time to bet. Like I just said, October, if you're a sports person, you like winning money, who doesn't? I'll tell you where to put your money down at mybookie.ag. If you're trying to bet on the NFL, baseball, MMA, whatever, My bookie's got it. Not to mention the NHL is already kicked off, and the NBA season's right around the corner. My bookie has faster payouts and more lines than any other sports book, period. They've got parlays, even teaser bets. If you're looking to bet a little and win a lot, my bookie's got your back. They just revamped their website. It's looking great. I encourage all of you, go and take a look at it if you haven't already. Listen to this. Double your first deposit now. Use promo code NICKD to get a 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. Who's better than you? Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie.ag. And don't forget to use the promo code NICKD when creating your account to claim the bonus. It's the best site out there because you know what you do when you go on it? You bet, you win, and you get paid quickly. So go to MyBookie.ag. Live dates real quick. You can get these at nickdip.com. Look at that picture of that handsome bastard leaning against a post like a drunk. Friday and Saturday, November 8th and 9th, the Kansas City Comedy Club, Kansas City, Missouri. That'll be here before you know. Friday, November 15th, the Cortland Repertory Theater in Cortland, New York. I've been there many times. Great gig. Saturday, November 16th, the Comedy Works, Saratoga Springs, New York. Friday, November 22nd, the historic Ritz Theater, Brunswick, Georgia. That's my first appearance in my new home state. And then the next night, the Saturday, November 23rd, the Tiff Theater in Tifton, Georgia. New Year's Eve, the Tarrytown Music Hall back in Tarrytown, New York. And then in 2020, my first date is January 24th, the Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Saturday, February 15th, the Kelsey Theater, Lake Park, Florida. Friday, April 3rd, Morgan Hill Event Center in Herman, Maine. That's right, I'm an event in Herman, Maine. Rich, you want to do super chats? Oh, real quickly, and I should have done this at the top of the show. Contributions. I want to thank Leslie Funk and Joseph Longobardo. Contributions over $50. And Sean Rager has signed up at the veto level, which is, that means Sean's a huge fan, and we can't thank you guys enough. Remember, you can contribute at nickdip.com and DaveChappelle.com. Yes, Rich.
We didn't have any super chats, but somebody said go Packers in chat.
Oh, great. Did he pay to say that? He didn't? So why would you fucking slow me down? Packers are always good during the regular season. Then there's a little team called the New England Patriots, who are the greatest dynasty in the history of the National Football League. That's all I'll say about it. And they better cover the spread tonight, or I'm going to be one furious puss. Know what I'm saying? The country's getting more radical to the left, and it's unbelievable. They're trying to remake our society from the ground up. I look pudgy. I had a lot of chili last night. Look heavy. I'm very excited about this, and you should be too. Ahead of National Period Day, see red, argues for menstruation visibility. That's right, we're going to have a National Period Day. You don't think the fucking feminist movement has lost their fucking minds? There's women throwing up at this, going, are you shitting me? We've been trying to keep it a secret from guys. Now we're going to celebrate? Huh? And you know what it's based on, this? Because I'm going to read the article. Patrice O'Neill used to do a bit about feeling bad for women having periods. And he goes, imagine if your nose bled every month. You had string hanging out your nose. I should have pulled it up. One of my favorite bits from the late, great Patrice. In more than 30 states across the U.S., menstrual products are subject to sales tax since they are not deemed a necessity. I'm with them on that one, all right? Drop the sales tax. But the rest of it I disagree with. They're saying it's not necessary? Yeah, it is. Come on. Is there a sales tax on toilet paper? I'm not sure, but I know that's goddamn. Well, you could blow it dry, but I'm actually with the angry lesbians on this one. I mean, feminists. One nonprofit is trying to change that via the first National Period Day. You always go too far. You have a good, we agree with you in principle on some shit, but you don't have to fucking make it. There's going to be, junior high girls walking out and protesting. It's like climate change. There'll be a million girls storming the whatever, leaving a trail of blood like fucking World War II in the streets. On Saturday, October 19th. Oh, did I miss it? Was that this past Saturday? Huh? What did you do for National, fellas? What did you guys do for National Period Day? Not too quick now, asshole.
I made chili as well.
Callback that doesn't work. Why are you so obsessed with callbacks, Rich?
I legitimately made chili this weekend. I thought we could bond over that fact.
I don't believe you for a second. I feel like
I still have some. I'll take a picture. It's in my fridge.
Next to a head of a 12-year-old boy, fucking made chili. 30 states across the country, but Saturday, October 19th, period.org. I go there all the time. I go between period.org and bleedinglikeastuckpig/org. Will hold rallies nationwide to address the issue, as well as call for greater access to menstrual products in schools, shelters, and prisons. Oh, for Christ's sake. Jesus, I had 3 sisters and a mother growing up. Really? It's that hard to get a fucking tampon? Jesus, I used to hand them out at nightclubs in the 80s when people needed them. How fucking hard is it? Carry a roll of Bounty in your book bag, or for the love of Christ, you can get them anywhere. Rip an old tree branch down, plenty of dry leaves, jam it up in there. Nick, that's an immature type of, yeah, whatever. I'm fucking fed up with this country. How about National fucking Skid Mark Day? To spread the word about National Period Day, the organization tapped BBDO San Francisco. Anything fucked up like this comes out of San Francisco. To create a video called See Red. That's S-E-E, not S-E-A, like Sea of Red. Encouraging people to rethink how society tends to treat and talk about periods. How about, see, they say right in, to rethink how society. They were literally trying to, I think we talk about it just about right. I don't think we need to talk about it anymore. You know? I think we have it right on the nose. When we see a girl, we go, oh, what the fuck? Clean it up. And girls go, oh, Jesus, I'm getting my period. That's all we need to do. You know what I mean? What are we going to chat about this at Thanksgiving? You know, this cranberry sauce reminds me. Shut up, Bill. Seriously, we really have to rethink periods? I think we have it about right. We don't appreciate what you go through? Oh, for the love of Christ.
Well, baby, me so horny.
I know.
Me so horny. Me love you.
Yeah, me love you. Leave 6-foot stain on the rug. What a show, ladies and gentlemen. There's a crisis that's being ignored. See, this is a crisis now because we don't see it according to the video. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Noting that taboos and taxes surrounding periods have particularly adverse impact on low-income women who are often forced to use rags, tissues, and even paper towels taken from public bathrooms while menstruating. Get a better job! How about that? Really? You can't afford it? Come on! Although I gotta tell you, there was an episode of Sopranos, this homeless woman. I don't know if you remember this, Rich. She's a homeless, big, heavy-set black woman. She's homeless, and she's only thing covering her ass is like the New York Times. She has like an old paper jammed up in her, and she gets up and walks away, and there's like a blood stain. I was trying to get my horoscope. It ruined the whole scene. It is not a goddamn crisis. Jesus Christ.
You can act like a man.
Yeah, that would help.
What's the matter with you?
Society might be getting slightly more comfortable. Society might be getting ever so slightly more comfortable acknowledging that periods exist. But until we're okay with, listen to this. With women free bleeding in the streets. What the fuck does that even mean? That's what you're shooting for? Free bleeding in the street? What does that mean? Only women I want to see bleeding in the streets after a bar brawl between a couple Irish chicks in South Boston. That's the only free bleeding. We better work harder to make pads and tampons accessible to all, said Kate Catalanac, who has nothing better to do with her fucking time. Creative director at BBDO San Francisco. Oh, my God. Huh? Is this really a crisis? Raz, did you have sisters, Raz?
Yeah.
How many?
I was raised in a house with 6 women.
6 women? You must have been it's like a cotton field. And that wasn't a black joke. Jesus Christ. When I see a woman having my period, I used to say, cleaning it up. Nothing, Rich? Fucking asshole. Laughs at the dumb shit. That was a great fucking sound drop. Thought you'd get a kick out of it. It's a nice look you got there today. What are you, Donny Osmond, 1978?
He's a fan.
No, he isn't. Just dresses like one. Period.org is a global nonprofit founded 5 years ago with a goal of ending period poverty. Did anybody know there was a period poverty? That sounds like we have a shortage of periods. Period poverty. Yeah, how we doing? We're running in the red. Dudes, I just came up with that one. I got only off the cigarettes. I got the fucking teeth of a hillbilly. And stigma through service, education, and advocacy. Anytime you hear education and advocacy, Jesus, how much time do you have on your hands, feminists? The See Red video, which is running on social channels and was sponsored by sustainable cleaning brand 7th Generation, comes just weeks after period-proof underwear brand Thinks. I picked up a pair of those. Debuted an ad that I put them on my dog. We had our dog's dead now, but we had a little Yorkie, and I was, this is right after we got it, female. I'm watching football on a Sunday night. She runs by me with a fucking little diaper on with like a blood spot coming out of it. I didn't know dogs. Kind of ignorant. I should have figured female dogs have their period. Little Japanese flag on her ass. She ran through the fucking. Oh my God. Anyways, the company Thinks debuted an ad that images a world where men also get their periods, which we played last week, and that's where we are. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. We don't have something like a period, so it's unfair. How much do you hate men to have that point of view? 2 years ago, Walter Thompson, New York, a jerk-off, created an ad for nonprofit Period Equity. I think I put, that's a slush fund, isn't it? I put about 10 grand into Period Equity, and that featured Amber Rose. Who's she, a porn star? I don't know. She an actress? In the video, Rose keeps her tampons in a diamond-studded locket around her neck, which serves as a not-so-subtle dig at states that tax menstrual products. I'm with them on that one, because it is not a luxury. I'll give you that one. Knock off the tax. Something should be free in life, like that. And I bought toilet paper the other day at Publix, and I put the big, put it up as a border wall. The lady's trying to look over me. It's like 48 rolls. And then she goes, "That's a pretty good price." And I go, "Well, not really." She goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, consider what I'm going to do with it when I get home. I'm going to wipe my ass with it. It should be free." We all have assholes, don't we? Rich has two, one on the back of his neck. Anyhow, it's just more evidence we're losing our shit. Hey, quick question, and I forgot to tease this at the top of the show. I'm always a little late. Jesse Lee Peterson, I had a nice talk with him that we are going to play towards the end of the show. I really admire this guy. He's a advocate, and he was on Fox News a lot, and he's a black dude who's very conservative to the point where I was blushing at some of his views. But you know what? Deep down, I wanted to say, you know what? You're right, but I didn't want to get kicked off the planet. Anyways, Jesse Lee Peterson is coming up in a few minutes. I should have teased that at the top of the show. Rich, remind me. And Raz, you got to start writing this shit down. Even though I didn't remind you. So how long is that interview, Raz? Do you know? It's about
23, 25 minutes.
Is it that long? I thought I cut him off at like 18. Anybody know? Exactly. You can look it up. You could be right. Kellogg's, let's stay on the left is losing its shit. Kellogg's, listen to this, all-together cereal promotes inclusion. If I hear the word inclusion one more time, I'm going to exclude myself from the conversation. Promotes inclusion for Spirit Day. When does Spirit Day come? After Period Day or before Osteoporosis Day or Cancer of the Tit Week? Help me the fuck out! This guy says, oh, God, unbelievable. The major food company is teaming up with GLAAD. There's no gay agenda in the planet. Somebody, please, gay, I would say call the show, but we don't have calls. Somebody explain to me the agenda. Gay people make up about 8% of the world population. The major food companies teaming up with Glad for its new Altogether cereal, a limited edition box that promotes inclusivity and anti-bullying efforts, which are both overblown. Can I just say this, Glad, LGBTQ? We have accepted your lifestyles, okay? It's not about the actual sex and whatever you do. We've all accepted that. You have to admit that. But it's you who keep saying, accept us, accept us, accept. You've been accepted. You fucking, we're getting deluged with this shit. They made a joke about it on The Sopranos. Carmela, this is back in 2000. She mentioned it on The Sopranos that everything's gayed up now. So that was 19 years ago. Why are you smirking, Rich? Go ahead.
I thought cereal was gay already. Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes. I mean, you have everything.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my mother's ass. Help me. Nothing gay about cereal. But how about the ones that make you shit out a whole, shag carpet? The brand. There's nothing gay about that. He thought he saw gay Fruit Loops. You don't think I saw that the minute I saw the story? I went, that's too easy. Fucking. Let me tell you, Count Chocula is as straight as anybody. I'm just so tired of talking about it, God damn it. It's an inclusive cereal.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Those are Snap Crackle guys applauding.
Fucking quit!
Take it easy. The special cereal, which debuted on October 17th, 2 days before Period Day, in honor of Spirit Day, features 6 brands of the most iconic mascots. Basically, you can get all 5 of your favorite cereals in one box. I used to do that when I was drunk in high school. I'd come home, I'd mix Kellogg's, cornflakes with Fruit Loops and Count Chocula and, Raisin Bran, all in one box. It's way more cost-effective than buying separate boxes, mixing them together. This isn't just a marketing stunt either. The company's donating $50,000 to GLAAD in support of LGBTQ advocacy efforts. I'd like to know where that money really goes to, huh? Does anybody ever look into that? Where's that 50? What's it do? It's buying assless chaps, bullwhips, ball gags, all the shit that I'd like this Christmas. At Kellogg, listen to the buzzwords. I got to wrap this up because we got to bring Jesse Lee Peterson on. Listen to the buzzwords, the politically correct buzzwords that makes this show crazy. At Kellogg, we are firmly committed to equity and inclusion in the workplace, marketplace, and the communities where we work and live. We have long been allies and supporters of LGBTQ employees, their families, and the community. So why are we still whining? For more than 100 years, Kellogg has nourished families so they can flourish and thrive. Yet that's not enough. We have to make an inclusive box of cereal. They're already admitting they've been doing this for years, but it's not enough. The cereal, which is available online for $20 a pop, kiss my ass. I'll blow a fella before I spend $20 on cereal. It includes Frosted Flakes, the very gay Fruit Loops, Rice Krispies, Frosted Mini Wheats, Corn Flakes, Raisin Bran. We are proud to partner with Kellogg's again this year to help extend the important message of Spirit Day by Senior Director of Development and Marketing, GLAAD. Listen to this. The Altogether cereal encompasses the values of diversity, equality, and solidarity that Spirit Day is all about. And we hope that LGBTQ everywhere receive the message loud and clear. I can't take it anymore. What message is that?
I suck cock, and I love it. Yummy, 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 yummy.
That's how I feel about your cornflakes. Leave them alone. Anyways, last week I had a nice sit-down with a good friend of ours from the show, Jesse Lee Peterson, a very interesting guy. He's 70 years old, still relevant, so that should tell you something. Let's run this and see what you guys think. It was an interesting discussion. My guest today is a guy that I really admire. You've seen him on Fox News. He's an author, provocateur, and he's big on the internet. And he's actually going to be debating David Pakman at Politicon on October 27th in Nashville. Please welcome Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse, how are you?
All is well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jesse.
And by the way, I said earlier, I really like your studio. It looks sharp in the background.
Yeah, I'm not good with my hands, but we found a cheap place where I could save about $2,000 a month, and me and my producers were at Home Depot, all weekend, buying plywood and 2x4s, and somehow we got it all together in a weekend.
Great job.
Yeah, and we love it much better. Actually, it's more intimate, and I'm actually proud of people saying nice things about it. Let me ask you, Jesse. First things first. Who's this guy you're debating, and do you need help? Because he sounds like a punk. No, I'm just kidding. Who's David Pac-Man?
I've had him on my TV show, the FallenState.tv.
Yeah.
I believe he's been on a radio show or something like that. He's just another little young liberal who has no idea of what he's doing or what he's talking about. He's one of those intellectuals who has no sense of common sense at all. So I'm trying to help him find his way back home.
It's a nice way of putting it. How do these kids get so lost? I'm 57. I guess I can say that. How do they get so lost, Jesse, today? And why are they so susceptible to a lot of this left-wing PC garbage culture? They seem to ingest it. I know it goes back to college campuses and even further back. How do you undo that? How are you going to get this guy home?
Well, it's really due to the lack of fathers. When you don't have a father and a mother who are perfect examples for you, if the father's not the head of his wife and the children, then the mother tend to take over, and women tend to be emotional. And so the boys and girls are turned away from their fathers, so they take on the thoughts and ideas of their mothers and their feelings. So when they go out into the world, it's easy to deceive them because women tend to be intellectual, and men tend to be logical. And so when they go out into the world, it's easy for the world to deceive the children. This is why the children have to be turned back to the fathers and the fathers back to the children, so that when they grow up and go out into the world cannot deceive them by way of the intellect. So we're trying to turn them back to the fathers.
I think I just heard a bunch of feminists pass out in Manhattan and bang their heads. It's funny you say that, because with this culture, this liberal culture, if you watch sitcoms and commercials and whatnot, a lot of the commercials will lump the dad or the husband in with the kids. Now, you just sort of did the opposite. You lump the wife or the mother in with the children, which will drive modern-day feminists crazy. But I notice in a lot of commercials, they'll always go, the woman, it'll be the woman going, I'm busy, I have a job, I have to take care of my husband and my kids. They always lump the dad in. And that's interesting that you phrased it like that. That makes them crazy, the modern-day feminists, saying that they're emotional.
There is an order to life, whether we like it or not, accept it, believe it or not. And that order is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. And so love comes from above. It comes through God, through Christ, through the man, to the woman, and to the children. And women don't have love if they don't get it from their fathers when they're little girls. And
they become strippers.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And when they grow up, if they don't get it from their husbands, then they have no love. So when these women are turning the children away from their fathers, they're really turning them to anger and to darkness away from their fathers. And so another thing, too, if you notice, every time the man listens to the woman, he suffers because
I can attest to that. It's not I shouldn't say that my wife is instrumental in my career, but there's days where I'm sure she suffers. But what do you mean? Explain that.
Because women everything they do is based on emotions. It's based on what they think and what they feel. It's not based on what is right.
Oh my God! You can't say that, Jesse Lee. You're gonna get in trouble. Do you get a lot of pushback? Well, what's the reaction when you make a statement like that?
Well,
from women.
The liberal women who hate God, who hate men, they have hissy fits. But those women who have been raised by their fathers and love what's right, they see where I'm coming from. And those who have not been raised by some who have not been raised by their fathers, they began to understand what went wrong. And when they understand what went wrong, they start to forgive their mothers for turning them away from their fathers. And when they forgive their mothers, God forgive them and turn them back to the Father. And it makes sense to them.
Right.
But we cannot hold back with the truth simply because the children of the lie, they hate the truth. And so we got to tell the truth, because if you notice, as the women are taking over government, when they take over the families, when they take over the communities, when they take over the schools, everything go to hell in a handbasket, because they're so emotional. They accept everything that's wrong because they feel so sad for them. They feel emotional, and emotions are not good. You have to be logical and not emotional.
It reminds me of a quote. We're talking to the great Jesse Lee Peterson, by the way. It reminds me of a quote in the movie The Godfather, where Vito, you know, the patriarch of the family, he actually says that in one scene. He goes, men have to be, women and children can be careless. Men can't be careless.
That's right.
He actually says it. And every time I watch that movie, which is every other week, I can picture like liberal women's heads exploding all over the place. But you're right. The evidence, we have empirical evidence.
Yes.
I mean, and if for a party that loves science so much, the Democrats, and they love empirical evidence and science, and they sure don't, when it comes to that, they sure get upset and ignore it. But I mean, like you said, you look at the inner cities and illegitimacy rates, and you know, both in black and white community, but more so in the black community. I mean, we have a ton of evidence saying that there should be a father and a mother.
That's right. When I was growing up, and I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama, I was born there.
You weren't a slave, were you? You're not that old.
I'm 70 years old, so I'm not a baby.
I can't believe you're 70. Yeah, you look like you're 55, and that pisses me off. But go ahead.
And so, thank you. But when I was born on a plantation in Alabama. I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. And I remember for colors only signs and all that.
No kidding.
But I wasn't bothered by it because my parents and my grandparents, they never put down the white people. They didn't say all white people were evil and all that. They said treat others the way you would like to be treated. And they knew there was good and bad in all races.
Right.
I remember some bad kids and families that we were not allowed to hang out with. And they were black because the parents were no good, the kids were no good.
Right.
And we were not allowed to hang out with them. The family protected us from evil, right?
Right.
And when I was growing up, abortion was unheard of. I had never heard of abortion growing up.
Right.
It was embarrassing to have children out of wedlock. If a woman got pregnant out of wedlock, she'd have to leave Alabama and go to Chicago somewhere and come back. Men and women, there was that order. Women, for the most part, respected the man because she knew who he was and he understood her role in life.
Right.
But that all changed when the civil rights movement came along, and the black people came up with the civil rights idea, and the black men and women became the leader of the people.
Right.
And the government, the Democratic Party government became the head, became the provider. You know, they gave them free stuff. And so black people gave up individual thinking, loving God with all their heart, soul, and might. They gave that up and started following them so-called black leaders and following the Democratic Party, and it's just been downhill ever since. When the men became weak, they lost the women and children. And now it is completely out of control.
Oh yeah, it's worse than ever. And you're right. The father figure was replaced with a government check, and and now they actually, it's beneficial for young women to not have a husband in the house. They get more money from the government. And boy, we've seen the effects of that. Who was the senator? I want to say. Was it Monahan or Leahy back in the 60s? He wrote about this.
Yeah.
Patrick? I think it was Monahan?
Yeah, I believe it was Monahan. He wrote and tried to warn the people.
In the 60s, he was warning of this. Yeah.
He tried to warn them what was happening. And now it's starting to, now that the blacks are wiped out, because the average black man act and think like a woman. He's very emotional. He gets angry. the anger that you see in black gang members and black men, boys
Right,
and girls, and adult men, that's the anger of their mothers. It's not, has nothing to do with white people at all, has nothing to do with slavery. It has nothing to do with so-called racism. It's they resent their mothers and they're yearning for their fathers. Until they forgive their mothers so that God can forgive them and they return to their fathers, they're going to only get worse instead of getting better. And it started to happen to the white community now.
Yes.
And that's why white men are so hated. White, straight, conservative men, Christian men of power, are the most hated species on this side of heaven because they're trying to turn his family away from him.
Right.
So they usher in the same government and all that, the same way they did with the blacks.
Right.
Once they do that, it's over for the country because socialism will take over.
Yeah, well, the feminist movement today, to me, which is the most insidious, and they're the most militant and crazy, they grabbed hold of the civil rights movement's coattails, and they used the same playbook, and I think they've surpassed the civil rights as far as the sway they have in our society. And,
absolutely.
Right? And we're watching the... I can't count the number of times I've been in a supermarket and seen a woman dressing down her husband, just like you see in the commercials on sitcoms. I was flying this weekend. I was at a terminal, and there was a guy at Savannah Airport. He was on the speaker working for the airline, and he actually said this, Jesse, and I thought of you when he said it. He said, and for those of you traveling in families, make sure you have your passport or your ticket, and wives, make sure your husbands, if they're capable of holding on to their boarding pass.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if a guy said that? Make sure your wives are capable of. He was trying to be funny. But I thought of you right away, and this stuff is so pervasive. It's gone from TV now down to airline terminals where people trying to be funny on a speaker, taking shot at men. It's really frustrating.
It's crazy. It's not uncommon now for men to be beta males. Beta males.
Right.
And,
right. I know they're proud of it.
No, and but it started to change. On my show, my radio show, I get phone calls from around the world, from men and women, who started to realize, you know what, my mother did turn me away from my father and play victim, and they identify with the mother.
Right.
And I tell them that mothers are not victims. Mothers are victimizers, and they know how to play victim to make the kids feel sorry for her. And a lot of these men and women around the world are starting to realize this, and they're starting to overcome it. They're returning to their fathers. They're starting to speak up and stand up. And that's why we have to tell the truth, because if we continue to allow, especially liberal women, if we continue to allow them to take over America, we're not going to have America, because they bring in, if you notice, they bring in everything that's wrong. We now have so-called same-sex marriage. That's ridiculous.
Right.
A marriage between two men or two women is not a marriage. That's a fake.
But
it's not real.
You sort of blame the women's movement for that? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the men are afraid to disagree with it. If men stood up and say, no, we're not going to accept that. That is wrong. Don't hate them, but it's wrong. We're not going to accept it. It would be.
Aren't men sort of to blame for acquiescing to this and letting this happening to us? But if you if you stand up, then you're called a bigot and
yeah,
right?
But
and
men
sexist.
don't understand. They don't really understand what they are dealing with. They don't understand the spirit of the woman. That is not a good spirit, and they don't know how to deal with it because they have not overcome their mothers. When they forgive their mothers, then they can deal with the rest of the women in the right way.
Now, when you say that to this guy, David Packman, on October 27th, I hope he's wearing a helmet to keep his brains. He's going to, well, what? I mean, I would love to see that. It'd be a fly in the when you say that to him. What's his argument back going to be? You'll just be a massage. He's going to start calling you names, right? You're a misogynist, and women are, totally superior to men, and blah blah blah.
He's just going to cry about it like a little beta male, beta male. But
you're probably right.
It's not going to bother me because I have perfect love in my heart. I love all people. I don't agree with the wrong things that are happening, but I have no resentment toward anyone because I can now see it. I see where they're coming from. And that they can't help it. The Never Trumpers, which is the liberal media, the Democratic Party,
Right.
the Never Trumpers, the rhinos, and all that. They hate this president because he is a real man. And men are sons of God. And when you hate the son, you hate the father. So they can't handle this president. They don't know how to deal with him, so they hate him.
Right.
And that's what's happening to all men in this country today.
Speaking of, we're talking to Jesse Lee Peterson. Speaking of Never Trumpers, I wanted to get your take on the recent rally he did in Minneapolis and all the violent attacks against the Trump supporters. I saw a woman interviewing an older white guy. Somebody comes by and spits right in his face.
Yeah.
And they were literally chasing another older white guy down the street. What are your thoughts on that? These are so-called anti-fascists.
Yeah.
Isn't this the silliest thing you have ever heard? I mean, they're projecting. They're the fascists and they're the haters. And how do you, what do we do to turn that around? If somebody spits in your face, Jesse, and you're at a rally, what are you going to do?
They're going to have hell to pay.
I know you'd bring the Bible into this. They should have hell to pay. This white guy just went, oh, whatever.
I
No.
don't say that.
I've been punched in the face by a woman about a year and a half ago, and I didn't want to lose my house and end up in a lawsuit, but it's never going to happen again. But
right, because we have a right to defend ourselves.
Right.
And if we're attacked, it's time to defend yourself. I wouldn't encourage our side to go out there and start a physical fight.
Right.
You should speak up. You should get involved.
Right.
But if you are attacked, you have a right in America to defend yourself. And these people, they know that you're not standing up and defending yourself.
Right.
They're going to go out of control. They're going to only get worse. Our battle is a battle between good and evil, right versus wrong. It has nothing to do with being a male or female or black or white or whatever.
That's a
color.
great point. It's a great
and so we're
point.
fighting against evil, and you cannot just let evil attack you. It will only bring out the worst. Look what happened to white people. I have been saying to white Americans for the last 29 years that
Wake up, white people.
They need to start speaking up to black people and not allow blacks to just accuse them falsely, and they don't stand up and speak up for fear of being called racist. And the whites have not done it. And now white people are physically attacked. The women are being raped. They've been falsely accused. All kinds of things are happening because they've only brought the worst out of the blacks rather than being honest with them and speaking up and helping them to overcome by being honest with them.
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, the one thing I do know, I'm not a big Bible reader. I'm not as religious as you, but an eye for an eye might be my favorite thing in the whole. It seems the only way to stop political correctness is by being politically incorrect.
That's right.
And if one side is getting violent, and like you said, if you don't get violent back, and that's not what I'm, but you, I mean, we're on the verge. We're on the verge.
I'm not encouraging it,
right?
But you have a right to defend yourself,
right? And the fact,
I remember my grandparents used to tell me all the time, "Don't start a fight, but if someone started with you, make sure you finish it." We have the right to protect ourselves. Look at the president; they hate him. I call him the Great White Hope.
Right.
4 more years.
Right.
But look how they're attacking him. He's not backing down. He doesn't get angry. He speak up. When you're wrong, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You're wrong. He tells the truth about that. He exposing these people, and they don't know what to do with it. They're going nuts because they're being exposed.
But doesn't the Bible say, turn the other cheek? And that was one of my least favorite things from the Bible, because that's what George W. Bush did, and that got us Obama.
Yeah.
Who inflamed racial tension in this country. I don't care what anybody says.
That's right. When it said turn the other cheek, it just means don't hate. Don't hate your enemy, but overcome them with good. So what it means, stand up and defend yourself.
Right.
But don't hate them, because once you hate, you lose control. You become like what you hate. And so just don't hate, but definitely stand up, speak up, and get involved. I heard the president giving a speech the other night, and he said that Joe Biden, Joe Biden was vice president to the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama.
Yes. He black.
He black.
No, he half black. Yeah, and and what did he say? What did Trump say?
And the Great White Hope said that the only thing Joe Biden did for 8 years was kiss Obama's A. And I said, yes, that's how you be a white man. You speak up.
No, but that's true. I mean, the late, great Patrice O'Neill, a comedian friend of mine, we would have these discussions all the time. And his point was, you know, and Colin Quinn, who grew up in Brooklyn around black people, he has black relatives, but they would always stress that that's who black people respect, the white guy that will speak up.
That's right.
I mean, it might get you shot in a parking lot of a 7-Eleven if you tell them to turn their music down, but
Right.
but they really do. They want to know where they stand with a white person, and that, like you said, it's not about color; it's about right and wrong. And
That's
right
right.
now, we're on the wrong track. I mean, real quickly, I wanted to get your opinion on possible impeachment. Is this going to happen? And if it does, where does that lead us?
No, I predict this would not happen because the president hasn't done anything wrong. And they've been doing these type of incitement, build up lies for the last almost 3 or 4 years, how long the president been there.
Right.
And the media jump on and help support the liberal media.
CNN.
And it made the Democrat voters feel like, oh, the president on his way out, right?
Yeah.
And it made the president's supporters feel a little unsure. But no, the president has not done anything wrong. Impeachment would not happen. 4 more years for the great white hope.
I love. You know what? You got your head screwed on straight. I mean, I talk to you, and I wish I was brought up more religious sometimes, actually. But Jesse's got a book, The Antidote: Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. I suggest you read it. He's one of the straight shooters out there, and he takes a lot of guff. It's not easy to have his views and in this country. It's tough enough for a white guy, never mind a black guy. But I mean, 70 years old and he's still relevant, which means he's on to something. Jesse, I can't thank you enough. I really admire what you do out there, and hope to have you on again.
I totally enjoyed talking to you. It's amazing. And I want people to go to jlptalk.com or rebuildingdemand.com and check out our nonprofit organization as well.
There you go. That's the great Jesse Lee Peterson, and we'll be back. My thanks again to Jesse Lee Peterson. He's an inspiration. He's out there taking the punches and a straight shooter. We got some super chats before we go real quick. The show's going a little long, but it's Monday. It's free.
One of our show regulars, Joshua Roberts, our buddy, said, Nick, you are the funniest man in comedy, and you get no respect.
Well, I'll tell you, Josh got a point, I'm saying. Yeah, well, I took the road less traveled, as they say. But you know, I believe we're on the right track. Thank you for that, Josh.
Lucy Howard from the United Kingdom said, big love from the UK. Nick, you are the man.
Lucy, good to hear from the UK. Big love. Now, does that mean she's over 300 pounds? I'm kidding. Thank you, Lucy. Always good to hear from overseas.
Pastor George contributed, and he said, what we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. Isaac Newton. He said, was and is right. Progressives think they know everything, and if you disagree, you are an ignoramus.
He's right on everything except for the Isaac Newton. That was Isaac Hayes, by the way, who did the theme for Shaft, I believe. And that's actually true.
David Kraft loved the interview, and he said, you just earned it for that interview with JLP for the win.
What does that mean, JLP?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh, I hate JL. I always think Just for Laughs, the Montreal comedy. Thank you very much. Yeah, Jesse's an interesting dude. He's easy to interview.
Hawaja Tala Chick said, I freaking love these two, referring to you and JLP. And Stabbin' Joe Scarborough said, if somebody went to spit in my face, I'd block it with my Bible.
Is that what he said? What a stupid haircut. Would you block it with your Bible? Is that the one you used to prop, what's Brzezinski's first name? Stupid Brzezinski? Whatever. Mika Brzezinski. You'd block it with your Bible, Joe? You wouldn't block it with your bass guitar? This guy's fucking, he's every white guy in a Lipitor commercial, playing with his band members. Anything else? That is it. Hey, thank you so much. Again, Mondays, don't forget to go to cameo.com if you want me to send a personal message roasting one of your friends or whatnot. They're starting to come in again, so it's a lot of fun. nickdip.com. Don't forget Breath of Fresh Air. It's on YouTube. We might hit 1 million views maybe by, I would say, Thanksgiving, around there or something. Thanks again. Remember, you think it, I will say it. You're very welcome. We'll see you people Most is, a lot is on Patreon tomorrow, so go to nickdip.com if you haven't signed up for that. You think it? I'll say it. You're welcome. See you tomorrow. Bye.